They say seeing is believing, but if I'd followed that advice, I might not be here today. It was my deaf and blind friend Nico who first sensed someone in the house with us. I scoffed at his claim, glancing around the wide, empty living room, then peering upstairs into the den, the spare bedroom, and out onto the patio. It felt like just the two of us. But Nico insisted. As he sat at the base of the stairs, tracing his fingers along the ornate banister, I went upstairs to grab something. He later told me in sign language that he felt another set of footsteps on the stairs behind me, following mine. Then he asked, "Who else is here?" I chuckled, playfully tickling his leg, brushing off his concerns as mere imagination. But deep down, a chill crept in, and I couldn't shake the feeling that maybe, just maybe, he was right. But he insisted he could smell them. When I asked him to describe the scent, he grimaced and said it was awful. A sort of garbage smell, like someone who needed a bath or hung out in the trash. "Maybe my trash just needs to go out," I joked, trying to lighten the mood, but I insisted it was just us. "Are you sure?" he pressed. We were supposed to be working on our game script, but he suddenly interrupted my thoughts, exclaiming, "There! Do you smell it?" I didn't detect anything, and the living room felt empty. "Does your nose actually work, or is it just a decoration on your face?" Nico burst out, clearly exasperated. Later, when I dropped him off at his apartment after our long day of work, he warned me again, in a serious face, "You definitely have another person hiding somewhere in your home." His hands moved expressively, 2 fingers from his right hand walking up my arm toward my shoulder, while 2 fingers from his left followed behind, softer. Then he tapped my arm, demonstrating the feel of the vibrations. First heavier and more solid, representing my steps, and then lighter, but still unmistakable, the second set of footsteps trailing mine, vibrating through the wooden stairs. I patted his arm in affirmation and promised I'd search the house when I got home. "Be careful," he urged, his signing deliberate and slow as if each word weighed heavily. He gave my arm a final squeeze before tapping his way to the front of his building with his white cane. As soon as I stepped through my front door, anxiety surged through me. I searched the house thoroughly. But where could an intruder hide? It was a cozy place. 2 floors, small but inviting. The rent was suspiciously low, but I dismissed that as a trade-off for the lack of AC, creaky pipes, and the house's age. I checked under the sink, peered into the closets, opened every cupboard, and even scoured the spare bedroom. My heart raced with each creak of the floorboards beneath my feet. I even bought a camera and set it up, hoping to catch something, anything. But all I captured overnight was footage of myself sleepwalking. I vaguely remembered waking up on the staircase and wandering back to bed, but the motion capture didn't activate at all. According to the video, I was completely alone in my house. Yet that lingering sense of unease gnawed at me. What if Nico was right? What if I wasn't alone after all? Still, the next morning, I couldn't shake off what Nico had said. It's often said that if you lose one sense, the others become sharper to compensate. But what if the reverse is also true? Was my reliance on sight causing my brain to shut out everything else? What if I tried closing my eyes? It seemed silly. Yet, on a whim, that evening, I put on a blindfold and began to navigate the house. As I felt my way through the kitchen, filling a glass with water from the sink, I suddenly felt the unmistakable presence of someone nearby. I couldn't quite pinpoint why, but the sense of being watched crept over me. The hairs on my neck stood on end, and in an instant I was absolutely certain someone was creeping up behind me. I ripped off the blindfold. Just me, but the feeling lingered, a chill racing down my spine. Was I truly alone? Still, the feeling lingered, those goosebumps prickling my arms. I hesitated for a moment, then put the blindfold back on and started to putter around the kitchen, trying to shake off the unease. That's when I noticed it, a smell. Like rotten meat, like unwashed flesh, spoiled and awful, it wafted through the air, so faint, yet unmistakable. The hairs on the nape of my neck stood up. I felt a shiver race down my spine. I went upstairs, trying to follow the scent, but it vanished almost immediately as I stepped into my den. Frustrated, I came back downstairs, my fingers lightly tracing the wall, searching for something, anything. Thud. 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 I froze, my heart racing. I felt footsteps behind me, soft reverberations on the wooden staircase just a beat after my own. It was exactly as Will had described. Someone was here, right behind me. I felt cold breath brush against my ear, sending a jolt of fear through me. I yanked off the blindfold and spun around. The staircase was empty. That night, as I lay in bed, sleep eluded me. A heavy fear settled in my chest about what might happen while I slept. And sure enough, I woke up on the stairs, sleepwalking again. But instead of retreating to bed, I tried to cling to that dreamy state, holding my eyes tightly shut. Then I felt it. My arm was cold. It took me a moment to realize that someone was holding my hand. Icy fingers wrapped around mine, drawing me forward. Those dead fingers were guiding me up the stairs. Every instinct screamed at me to pull away and run, but I felt paralyzed, allowing that chilling grip to lead me until I reached the landing. The rancid smell hit me like a wall, making my eyes water as the door to the spare bedroom creaked open. An overwhelming sense of dread washed over me, making it hard to breathe as the hand urged me across the room. Then my fingers brushed against the cool handle of the balcony door, and I pushed it open, fresh air rushing in. In an instant, I yanked back, terror coursing through me, and dashed for the light switch. I was alone again. Now, I'm urgently looking for a new place to live. Nico is right, I'm not alone, and my life feels like it's in danger every single night I stay here. I have to get out as soon as I can, but my budget is tight, and housing is incredibly scarce in this area. So, until I find somewhere safe, I've installed a bolt on the balcony doors, shoved a heavy bookcase in front of them, and locked that spare bedroom tight. Every creak of the house reminds me of the darkness lurking within. You see, I did some research and found out that the tenant who lived here before me expired by hanging himself from the balcony of the upstairs bedroom. Before him, there was an old woman who lived here with her daughter, and the daughter was also found hanging. In fact, I have no idea how many people have gone here before me, seemingly by their own hands. The house isn't officially reported as haunted. No one has ever seen a ghost here. But every single day I feel a presence lingering with me, footsteps treading just behind mine. And every night, those cold, dead fingers take my hand, trying to lead me out to the balcony. It's terrifying. I can't shake the feeling that something dark is waiting for me to give in.